My name is Shelley Clark. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at MEREDA. So I want to welcome you all today to our annual spring conference. I would like to welcome to the podium Gary Vogel. As many of you know, Gary's an attorney at Drummond Woodsum, where he's a shareholder practicing primarily in the area of real estate development, and finance. He was recently awarded the Lawyer of the Year honor by Best Lawyers in the area of banking and finance law for 2019 for the Greater Portland area. Gary has had a leadership role with MEREDA for over 20 years and currently serves as our president. And he will also be the master of ceremonies for the rest of the day. So please welcome Gary Vogel. You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Shelley. So good afternoon, everybody. If you're still milling around in the exhibitor area, please come on in and take a seat. We have an exciting program today. My name is Gary Vogel. We're here today to discuss an important topic, and one I think we all talk about regularly, housing. Housing has reached a critical juncture here in Maine, like other parts of the country, and MEREDA members are at the forefront, and that's why we're putting on this conference today to discuss, the issues and solutions, and it fits right in with MEREDA's mission of supporting responsible development. We do want to be part of the solution, and that's why we've asked everybody to join us at this conference today, where we're going to hear from industry leaders and collaborate and innovate about housing solutions and the challenges that our state faces. I do want to take a few minutes to thank people responsible for putting on this conference today. Bruce Jones and Brian Curley, who are the co-chairs of our conference committee, Shannon Richards and Matt Worthen, who stepped up to chair this event, and of course Shelley Clark. We couldn't get anything done at MEREDA without Shelley's tremendous efforts, and all of the members of our conference committee. So thank you. As always, please join the conversation. We use the hashtag MEREDA2019 on our Twitter, as well as to post to our Facebook page. There should be links to download today's materials and information about the hotel Wi-Fi in the center of each table. MEREDA is pleased to be opening the day with a data-rich presentation about national housing trends and regional housing trends, as well as a discussion about innovative housing. We expect a wide-ranging conversation with a panel of local experts as well, and we'll certainly save time for many questions and answers. This is a complex issue, sort of housing development, housing costs, zoning issues, sustainability. How does the age, demographics of our state and our regions play into all of this? The student loan expense that many millennials who are looking to afford housing, how does that factor in? We do want to get into all of these details, and we've got an exciting day and an exciting panel ahead of us. Before we dive in, I do want to take some time to thank all of the MEREDA members for being a part of the important conversation and finding value in what we do. As probably most people know who are here, MEREDA is an organization of commercial real estate owners, developers, and related service providers whose mission is to promote an environment for sustainable and responsible development and ownership of real estate throughout the state of Maine. We accomplish our mission through legislative advocacy, regulatory oversight, sponsorships of programs and conferences, and serving as a united and proactive representative for the real estate and economic development interests in the state. MEREDA has developed into really one of the most widely respected voices in the real estate field in Maine and Augusta and throughout the state. And our objective is really the same as when MEREDA was founded 35 years ago. So the legislature is in session now, and when the legislature is in session, MEREDA's Public Policy Committee is engaged in reviewing every one of the bills that comes out from the legislature. And this being the first year of a new legislative session, we expect there to be over 2,000 bills. New bills are still coming out from the legislature every day and our Public Policy Committee is reviewing them and trying to understand whether MEREDA needs to engage in looking at those bills and providing our input. We also advocate for a couple of bills that we've brought in on our own to simplify the subdivision regulations in the state of Maine, and we've been supporting the state low-income housing tax credit that we think could be really helpful in helping to develop more low-income housing units. I do want to thank Mike Lane at Pretty Flaherty, who's the chair of our Public Policy Committee, Andrea Maker and her team at Pierce Atwood, who are our legislative counsel, and all of the members of our committee. And, from time to time, we'll be engaged in an important legislative advocacy event, and we will reach out to our members and say, please contact and call your legislators or email them, because there's an important bill that's coming up before the legislature. And when you get one of those from MEREDA, please pay attention and please respond. It can be really helpful when a legislator gets, emails or calls from 10 people. It's actually a groundswell. It doesn't seem like you're making an impact, but you really can be. So thank you for all your support. I do want to take time to extend a special thank you to our event sponsors. Please stand if you're here representing any of the following companies: NBT Bank, Portside Real Estate Group, the Press Hotel, Sevian Mahar Engineers, Maine Biz, Hayrunner, Pierce Atwood, Revision Energy, PDT Architects, Perkins Thompson, Skowhegan Savings, AAA Energy Services, Eaton Peabody, Maine Home and Design, and People's United Bank. So I noticed nobody stood up, but I know you're here, so thank you. Thanks, everyone. Also, I'd like to take time to thank our MEREDA members who stepped up to our higher levels of membership support at our Cornerstone and Sustainer memberships. This really helps us do the work that we do. Our Cornerstone members, TD Bank, the Boulos Company, J.B. Brown and Sons. Thank you to them. And our sustaining members, AAA Energy Company, Androscoggin Bank, Baker Newman Noyes, Bangor Savings Bank, Bank of New Hampshire, Bar Harbor Bank and Trust, Berry Dunn, Camden National Bank, Drummond Woodsum, Eaton Peabody, East Brown Cow, Epstein Commercial Real Estate, Gorham Savings Bank, Malone Commercial Brokers, Mascoma Bank, our newest sustaining member, NBT Bank, Norway Savings Bank, People's United Bank, Pierce Atwood, Saco and Biddeford Savings, St. Germain Collins, Stantec, and SVN, the Urbanic Group. I know that's a long list, but we'd really welcome anybody else who wants to consider becoming a Cornerstone or sustaining member. Really helps what we do at MEREDA. So thank you to all those sponsors. So a few little housekeeping items. Today's program has been approved for 3 real estate continuing education credits for brokers, as well as attorneys, appraisers, and architects. Attendees need to sign in for these credits at registration in the lobby. Failure to sign in and leaving early will result in forfeiture of credits. Certificates of completion will be mailed. So if you didn't sign in, you can do it on your way out. You can sign in at the break, but please remember to sign in if you want to get those credits. The Real Estate Commission requires me to read this statement. This program has been approved by the Director of the Real Estate Commission for 3 clock hours towards fulfillment of the educational requirements for activation or renewal of a real estate license. The Commission is interested in the quality and delivery of educational programs which are offered to licensees, and therefore welcomes and encourages comments regarding program subject matter and quality and delivery of the program. So if you have comments, we'd love to hear about them, but apparently so would the Real Estate Commission. I'd now like to welcome to the stage our moderators for today, Shannon Richards and Matt Worthen. Shannon and Matt are part of the conference committee and were tasked with chairing this event. Shannon, of her company Hay Runner, has spent the last 20 years designing and building housing and has a deep connection with the arts. Hay Runner is a real estate development company that promotes services related to residential and commercial real estate transactions, project management, design, construction, furnishing, and produces design-centric events. Matt Worthen was raised in Ellsworth and is a shareholder at the law firm of Eaton Peabody. He's a member of the firm's real estate practice group and represents institutional lenders, developers, and other business entities in a variety of commercial transactions and real estate law issues, including financing, real estate development, and leasing. So Matt and Shannon have really been done a great job in putting this conference together. Please welcome them.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I know this is a big deal to come out, take a half a day off of work. I'm excited to be here today. This is an exciting topic for us. The future of housing in Maine and the opportunity to bring this information to the stage with these people is huge. Maine is an amazing state, and I'm proud to be living and working here. Housing has been a part of my life for a number of years, and I can see where there are barriers for us all, and I'm excited to help out where I can. What's so intriguing about housing is that it affects all of us here. It's like healthcare. It's one of those huge issues. We all live somewhere, and the word home has so many meanings. Today we want to look at who we are now, and more importantly, who we're becoming. So you, our audience, can leave today feeling not only informed, but aware of how you could potentially create more appropriate housing in Maine. Ultimately, Maine wins, and we all win, if you leave today with answers to questions or maybe even new ways of asking those questions. Maine is seeing a lot of changes. Change seems to be fast and furious these days, on a scale unlike anything we've ever seen. Time seems to be our most valuable asset, and experience trends hot. While we humans are living differently than we did about 100 years ago, evidenced by walking into some of our many 100-year-old buildings here in Maine, remarkably, our buildings are not being built all that differently. So hopefully we can talk about that today. The inspiration for this event stems from discussions about who we are now, kind of an anthropological look at our society and how we live, our life expectancy. It's interesting because a little light lift Google research will tell me that we lived about 40 years on average in the year 1900, which is kind of remarkable. In 1950, we averaged about 65, and now it's about 75. As a note, penicillin was discovered in 1928, so I think that had a lot to do with it. Some people expect my 6-year-old and her classmates to live on average of 100. Living longer is already contributing to a lot of our changes, and people are living long enough to do things like downsize, or maybe they can't downsize because their millennial children haven't moved out yet. I think I stole that at another conference. I heard that somewhere, I think. A substantial amount of people are moving back to the cities, a kind of urbanization or re-urbanization, depending on how you interpret. Some are moving to farms, and some are starting farms. And around here, that might be for hops. Many are ditching the huge suburban homes and subdivisions.
The objective of this conference is to support each of you with practical information and solutions that will help you do your jobs better. MEREDA is a voice for responsible development in Maine. In keeping with that principle, today's topic is the future of housing in Maine. The question of how housing is developed for the present and the future affects us as homeowners, as renters, and professionally. Maine's population can generally be described as economically diverse and aging. A recent Bangor Daily News article stated by 2030, 28% of Maine's population will be age 65 or older. That is higher than any other state in the United States. The national number is estimated at 20%. That is both an opportunity for housing developers as well as a challenge. Since census data also identifies Maine as the least populated state east of the Mississippi River. That means our population lives in a diverse mixture of urban centers, coastal communities, towns, and remote townships and points in between. As if the statistical information on Maine's population and meeting those housing demands is not daunting enough, traditional notions of community have evolved over the past 50 years. A key driver for that change is technology. Technology is not just a part of our lives, but is integrated with nearly all aspects of our life. The cars we drive, how we bank and communicate with coworkers and friends, and how we provide services. As we rely more on technology at work and at home, a result is that we are less connected in our daily lives and our personal interactions with people. What is the effect of this change on our communities, our children, future generations? Lastly, when we are building or renovating housing stock, how do we build homes that will serve current homeowners, but also the brave new world and Maine's future?
Thanks, Matt. So today we're bringing innovators and success stories here to inform and inspire us all in the way that we live today. You'll hear about what's trending in our world for tomorrow, and we're going to hear some big data from away, and we're going to hear a little bit about some data that's closer to home. You'll hear about ways that we've gotten ahead of trends and ways that we are making what's housing we have available work. We'll also hear about policy and how we might change policy, and we're going to hear about products that just make sense.